You delve deep into the earth, deeper even than dwarves dare to delve, looking for the artifact, ancient, buried for 1,000 years, they say. Only this artifact breathes. Scales larger than creatures slide over one another as wings creak, expanding for the first time in decades. Muscles larger than horses contracting to raise the ancient beast of legend, and a tail that stretches into darkness. Teeth dwarfing the size of men, and a rumble from the depths that shakes the earth as it looks at you with eyes reflecting 1,000 of your lifetimes. Those eyes, so deep, so knowing, so dangerous.
Welcome to PhD&D and my response to my meeting of the minds on dragons. Now, let me clarify. I have a very opinionated stance on dragons, and that doesn't get swayed very much, but I wanted to see what everyone else said to see how you run dragons, how you perceive them in your setting, how you use them, and how you believe they should be used, because they're a part of the foundation for me of fantasy games. How you use dragons says a lot about your game. Now, Dungeon Master Johnny has done the only video response I've seen while up to recording this, and his went more into the anatomy, or I guess the physiology of dragons, which is awesome. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. A lot of good information actually in that video. Now, for me, there's some points you need to realize about dragons. Dragons, number one, are scary. These are frightening creatures that no matter who your character is, he's not just prancing up to him all Billy Badass like and ready to fight. These things, your guys freeze. I mean, the feeling in their legs go numb seeing a dragon, because dragons are also ancient in my mind. Young dragons, adult, middle level dragons, that's bullshit. You're putting the wrong view of dragons if you overuse those. Now, once again, clarify in my campaign, my long-running campaign anyways, I didn't hold the stance I currently do on dragons, so I kind of ruined that early on. So to keep it consistent, I've just kept dragons how I started with them. But here on out, in all my other campaigns, I run them very strictly. Dragons are ancient, though. The young ones, the eggs, those are taken, and those are cleared off in places that people can't get to. Dragons want to protect those eggs, have them hatch to continue dragon kind, and you're just not going to find them in my game. You're not going to find those young ones. You're not going to find anything, maybe ever, but if you do, it's going to be ancient. Dragons are old. They live for a long time, and that makes them extremely wise, wiser than any of your characters could ever dream of being. They've seen thousands of lifetimes compared to your character seeing one. Maybe if you're an elf, you've seen a couple more lifetimes than a human, but dragons have seen many more. They're unimaginably huge. These creatures, picture, let's see, like a football field. And you can picture the tail of some of these stretching more than half the length of a football field. The muscles, the power that can be exerted by these muscles in a dragon is just unimaginable. They're this separate entity altogether. As you can tell, I put dragons way up on a pedestal. But another thing, I'm going to flip my notes here, I don't want to forget anything. These are beings that once dominated the world. There are a few of them. If there's a lot of dragons in your campaign, my question is, why aren't they running the world? They did once, and if there's a lot of them, they're more powerful than anyone else. They should be able to be running the place. So keep them rare, keep them special. They are not conjurers of cheap tricks. Steal that straight from Gandalf. They produce fires from deep within their core. They can manipulate, not so much manipulate, but they can produce elements that should not be able to be produced by a living being. Check out DMJ's video if you want to know more about how they do that. For them, they also have piles of treasure, gems, gold, etc. That is not for pleasure. Yes, they can eat some of it, but the biggest thing is it belongs to them. They have more of a right to any treasure on the world than your characters do, and they believe that. They hoard treasure because it's theirs. They have a right to it. They've been here longer. So these creatures, they're better. They fully believe that. They're better than everyone. They themselves are better than all the other dragons. So you have to really see them as a much greater entity than just a stat block. Otherwise, you're using them all wrong. Back here. Now, presenting them in a game setting, first of all, like I said, they need to be rare. Your characters should not actively go seeking to have fun by killing a dragon, unless they're complete idiots. They should only have to fight a dragon if it's the last, basically their last chance to accomplish something. They should not be excited about it. Maybe the players themselves are kind of excited, but their characters should be frightened. They should know that they could be walking to their death. I never set it up and have a predetermined character death, but in the case of dragons, they need to feel every second like they could die. That's the case with many other instances, yes, I agree, but dragons especially, they should always feel like they could die any second with one of these dragons around. So, once again, don't look at them as stat blocks. You're ruining one of the greatest pieces of RPG fantasy history if you do. You need to set the scene with dragons. They live deep in the earth. They live in very secluded places. If your characters actually get there, you need to build that sense of darkness and the fright that comes with that. They should know they shouldn't be there. These creatures are way wiser than them. And like I said, screw the stat blocks. You know, whatever their wisdom score is, forget it. You cannot outsmart a dragon when it comes to you approaching their lair. Good luck sneaking in very stealth-like. You know, if you have dragons who sleep for thousands and thousands of years, that's fine. I still think they're smarter than the players, and they're going to know when someone's coming into their territory. They're more powerful. Characters, I've got a player or two in my campaign who, if things don't go their way, they like to bitch about it. That's fine. That's just a player thing. You know, they feel like they're getting screwed game-wise. I think you should if you're fighting a dragon. I think you should get to a point where, you know, you may be doing all sorts of damage. You may be just feeling like you're dominating, but you're fighting an ancient dragon. Let me give an example. My characters like to call their shots with certain things. They want to cut off, if they fight a dragon, they want to cut off the damn wing right away. That's fine. Go ahead and try. I'm not going to stop you, but good luck. Good luck cutting an ancient dragon's wing off by yourself. It's not going to happen. In my campaign, those types of things, my only response is, this is an ancient dragon. That's what I'll say to them if they bitch and whine. This is an ancient dragon. Now, that's partly because I presented dragons in not the right way the first half of the campaign, but and I'm rambling here, so let's wrap this up. Dragons, scary, ancient, wise, unimaginably huge and powerful. They've got names that sound legendary, that sound old, that, you know, should confuse characters. The dragons from my campaign, Alagaza Manir is a dragon. Iosphale, Samael, Widera Kalrun, Ashkahir Failderock. That is one of the nastiest dragons in my campaign. But they're long, they're weird names. Because they're basically not of this world. Dragons, once again, put them on a pedestal, treat them as they should be treated, and that is not as a stat block. Hope that helps. I'll stop here to postpone the rambling, but check out everyone else's videos that's done it so far, and please weigh in on how you run dragons in your game. Thanks for watching, everybody.